Hey guys, what's going on? Tyrauku here, and it's been a little while since I've done a champion guide, champion overview type video. So today, I want to talk about the Fusion Champion, which I just fused last night on stream. I built him up and played around with him a little bit. I think he's an amazing champion. So if you're here, you just want to see like, hey, you just fused him, or you're thinking about going ahead and fusing him. Hopefully, if you're thinking about it, you've already got the pieces done because the fusion is going to be ending fairly soon. If you're watching this video weeks down the road, months down the road, then hopefully you just pulled him. And if so, congratulations. He's a great champion, and I've had a lot of fun play testing him so far. I'm going to show you guys a few different areas of the game with him. I'm going to show you the arena, which is mainly where mine's built for, like actually specifically with the arena in mind. I'm going to show you some dungeons and just show you how good of a champion he is overall, give you my opinion on Astralon's build, his masteries, so on and so forth. I think Astralon is a very unique champion in the fact that there's a few different ways you can build him that make complete sense, all right? So looking at Astralon right off the bat, obviously we could talk about his aesthetics. It's awesome. Do I think he has asthma? I don't know. He's having a hard time breathing. Like, look at this chest. I don't think that's right. I don't know. I'm not for sure. I'm not a doctor, but either way, that's not right. Now, when it comes to his gear, you're going to see that I have 2 accuracy sets on him. So I have prioritized his accuracy a little bit. But I guess before we start getting into that, let me jump into his skills and show you guys why you actually need the accuracy. So this is a big long block of text. I have faith that you guys can read. So essentially, this is a 2-hit A1, has a chance of placing decreased defense. This is not really where he shines. It's a very good ability. Works even better if you have Countess Licks, but assuming you most likely don't have her. If you do, definitely read this. But this ability hits hard, works great. I love it. Let's move on to the second one, all right? So this ability, also very, very good. Now, it has a will ignore, increased defense, strengthen, and ally protection buffs, all right? That's great, but it's very situational. Most enemies you fight against are not going to have all of these buffs or really any of these buffs. There's definitely situations where it does work and you do get maximum value out of this, and it's great when you do, but it's very situational. The arena happens a lot. But he also revives a random ally with 40% HP and places a shield buff on them equal to 20% of their max HP for 2 turns if this attack kills an enemy. So it's essentially like Alton. Alton, when he kills an enemy with his A2 ability, he reses as well. But he also places a shield buff on this champion equal to 20% of their max HP for 2 turns if this attack kills an enemy. So this is a very, very good ability. Very good when it comes to placing shields, keeping other allies healed, and it's actually worked for me a few times, specifically on Ice Golem. I killed one of the side adds and actually rezzed one of my allies, which was pretty awesome. This ability hits very hard. I'm going to show you guys this in the arena in just a little bit. Now, his ability 3, this is where I think he just really shines, and I love it. Removes all buffs from targets under Veil or Perfect Veil, then places a 25% weaken on enemies who have Veil or Perfect Veil buffs removed, then attacks all enemies. That's huge, okay? You need to notice this. So he removes the veil, places the weaken, and then attacks, all right? Doing that means he's not going to have any weak hits on the veil removed. So the only thing you need is an accuracy check, all right? If you have more accuracy than they do resistance and everything rolls in your favor, then you remove the veil and you place the weaken, which is great. And then he attacks. Now, after he attacks, he has a 75% chance, but when booked, it's a 100% chance of placing a stun debuff on all enemies. This is an incredible debuff. Stun is probably the best debuff for crowd control in the game. Very, very helpful. And it's a 100% chance of placing, but it can be a weak hit. So if you go against a Force Affinity champion, he can weak hit on the stun and it won't place. But Magic Affinity, Spirit Affinity, Void Affinity, this is a 100% chance. Assuming you have more accuracy than they have resistance, everything rolls in your favor, then you're going to be good to go. He's going to place a stun. It's so helpful. When it's booked, 4-turn cooldown, this is a very, very good ability, and it hits very hard. Also, fills his champion's turn meter by 3% every time an ally is hit. This means, in theory, you could build him with a little less speed, assuming you're not trying to make him go first in the arena and you're not worried about the speed tuning. If you're using him in PvE content, like dungeons, faction wars, things like that, then you could build him with a little less speed. Every time an ally is hit, though, he's going to be gaining 3% turn meter, which may not seem like a lot, but it'll definitely add up, and he's going to take more turns. But it also decreases incoming damage by 25% if the attacker's attack is lower than this champion's. He's attack-based, so you're likely going to be building him with pretty high attack. Now, when it comes to what I prioritized as stats and kind of what my focus was, I've prioritized, well, speed, making sure that's like a decent range, all right? And then I wanted to make sure his attack got as high as possible. One, he's an attack-based champion, but two, he has a passive that makes attack even more valuable for him, all right? So I tried to boost this up as high as I could. I put attack percent boots on him. Obviously, this is probably a little bit more of the later game builds, and I understand that, but I tried to push up attack percent as much as I possibly could. He has an attack banner, everything, attack, 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 wherever I can get it. These pieces need to be upgraded, but I really want to push attack for him. And then I had crit rate 100%, crucial, crit damage as much as I could, and then accuracy. This is going to be a big thing with a lot of people, and some people are going to build this way higher than what I believe you actually need, and some people won't get this to the point where you actually need it. Personally, I think 250 accuracy will be more than enough for basically every area of the game except for high-level Platinum Arena, maybe even mid-level Platinum Arena, and Doom Tower, all right? So some of the Doom Tower is not going to work, some of mid-Platinum Arena, but an accuracy of 263, all right? If you're in the arena, there's not going to be any damage dealing champions, which are most likely the champions you actually want to control. There's not really going to be any damage dealing champions who are running over 200 resistance. It's going to happen sometimes, but majority of cases, no. Now, if somebody's running immunity gear anyways, it doesn't matter how much accuracy you have. You can't go through the immunity gear, all right? So champions who are actually running resistance are probably going to have at least 400. And if you built this champion to have 400 plus accuracy, you're going to be greatly sacrificing his other areas that he's so good at, okay? So you're going to be spreading yourself very thin. You're basically becoming a jack of all trades, but a master of none in a sense. I mean, he's a very good damage dealing champion, a very good stun, but you got to kind of pick and choose your battles, all right? Do you want him to be a hardcore CC champion where he places a stun only, or do you want him to place a stun on most champions, do a lot of damage, and kind of make a mix of the two? Now, you can take the other route as well, where it's just strictly damage, and you can just nuke everybody down. I guess if they don't survive at all, then you don't really need that stun anyway. So there's definitely several ways to build him. I like this way a lot, and if you're a little bit earlier game, obviously your attack's going to be much less, more likely. Your crit damage is probably going to be a lot less as well. I definitely would try to push these up as good as you can get them. Now, your speed, like I said, you can sacrifice a little bit of speed on him, especially if you're using PvE content. So like dungeons, faction wars, things like that. You can sacrifice a little bit of speed because the enemies are going to attack your allies and it's going to boost their turn meter. So that helps out a lot. Accuracy though, like I said, 250 should do you everywhere. Honestly, 200 should do you through all of this, the basic, all of this, most of faction wars, because the main things you want to CC are the waves. You can't CC the bosses anyways. You can't stun the bosses. So keep that in mind when you're building him. I definitely think you should build him more for damage, but keep the stun in mind because I don't think you should neglect it either. Because if you neglect the stun, you're neglecting a big part of his kit. But if you focus too much on it, you're also neglecting a big part of his kit, which is dealing a lot of damage. Now, when it comes to his masteries, let's take a look at this. Mine, I've strictly built for arena, all right? So I have things like the Heart of Glory, which is some extra damage when he has full HP. I expect for him to go first. I have this ability, which gives him extra damage on his first hit. Everything here is really focused on the arena. Now, his masteries are very, very customizable. You really need to know what you want for where you're at in the game. Cycle of Magic is great. Life Drinker is great. Shield Breaker, if you don't have like a Madame Ceres or somebody to remove the shields from the champions. Kill Streak, very good. Very, very good for dungeons. This is much better than Methodical for this champion because you're going to really want, he's going to be killing a lot of people, okay? He's going to do a lot of damage. That A3 ability is probably going to kill a lot of people. It should. So he's going to be getting that damage boost pretty easily. So that's very helpful if your allies are dying. Wrath of the Slain. There's a lot of good abilities over here. Now over here, he doesn't place any buffs per se. He does have a shield, but when you're building out over here, I really like these masteries because I've focused a lot on accuracy. Sniper may not be a huge deal because I don't believe anything has a, I guess it helps this ability is A1. But this ability, when booked up, is 100% chance to place a stun anyways. And I definitely think he's worth the books. But as far as this ability goes, it'll help his A1 out a little bit, which is very good. I mean, it's a 2-hit. If you can place decreased defense, that's never a bad thing. And then I took Lore of Steel. I like these masteries. I think they're very solid. Like I said, you can definitely customize them, but this is a solid base, I believe. If you don't have any sets, then definitely go ahead and take Evil Eye. It's a very good ability to use in all content of the game. So that has been about 10 minutes of talking about this champion. Let's go ahead and jump in here and show you guys what he can do, all right? He's amazing. In the arena against Duchess, all right? I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you, against Duchesses, he does work, right? He is a beast. Let me show you. I don't like this Rotos. I really don't. 140. See, this is the problem with gold now. What the heck? My eyes were getting a lot of red there. This is the problem though with Duchess right now. Not Duchess. This is the problem with Gold 4 Arena right now, is that the champions are very low. The players are very low overall. And it's kind of hard to get a good example because he's probably going to one-shot this Duchess. So we're going to do this. I love Ghostborn with him. They're opposite affinities. So when he's weak, Ghostborn's strong. Works out so good. I have him in a daze set. We're not talking about Ghostborn though, but still very good match. And I get increased attack. So we're going to use this A2 ability to go ahead and hit Duchess. I did this yesterday, and it just erases Duchess. So you see my stats. They're decent. They're not insane. That Duchess was a little bit, I think, on the softer side of things. But it's so good. So good. So we're going to go ahead and see how his A3 ability hits. We'll use this from, that's fine. Go ahead and get Duchess up. We can kill her twice. That's no problem. There we go. So I didn't see how much damage he dealt there. Unfortunately, I wasn't paying attention, but I know he hit fairly hard. All right, we're going to go ahead and try to, well, can't kill Mashal because he got Swift Parry applied. We'll go ahead and sleep him. Just kidding. He has block debuffs. However, this Rotos, super annoying. I wouldn't have taken this team against this team in the arena, like being serious, because that's just not a good team. Rotos, still strong against single target champions, but overall, Astralon hits so hard. All right, let's go for an example like this. How did I not see this team? This is actually perfect. They're going to be faster. They're overall much better team to go against. All right, I'm just going to use his A3 here just to showcase how hard it can hit. All right, this hits so hard. All right, here we go. A3 ability, let's slow it down, and boom. Okay, so he's not even in Savage gear. He's not in Cruel. He's not in anything that's going to make his damage super insane, but he still hits hard. All right, he does have good attack, does have good crit damage. You definitely don't want to neglect his damage. I think it's a really good idea to, like I said, go for some attack stats, go for all that kind of stuff, and then start focusing on things like get his accuracy to a good level. I don't think you want to build one outside of the other. All right, guys, so let's jump in here and check out Dragons. I'm just going to give you an example of how he does his wave clear, all right? So we'll go ahead, we'll keep Venus in there. Where's Astralon? We'll put Astralon in here. And then this team, honestly, should be fine. I'm not too worried about the actual dragon itself. Honestly, this team may be able to do it. He's incredible for wave clear. Let's see what he hits. Like, if he ever gets a turn, like I said, he is a bit slow. Okay, so he's zapping these people down. He's doing quite a bit of damage. His animations aren't the fastest, but I mean, they're definitely not slow. For how good these animations look, they're definitely not slow at all. Like, he's zooming, he's sliding, he's gliding. He looks so good. I love his animations. They're very cool. All the angel animations recently have been cool. But 22k each hit there, definitely not something to just ignore. Now, if he was fully booked, his A3 ability would have less of a cooldown. So he'd be doing it more frequently, which would help out a ton with actually clearing this pretty quickly. But having these champions like I have right now, and we're moving through through this pretty quickly. Obviously, we have decreased defense and weaken, so it's going to be quite a bit faster. But we're getting some Terminator boost. What is that? 80,000 damage per champion and a stun on everybody. Like, if you thought Syl of the Drakes was a good CC champion, could control the enemies, yo, Astralon is the upgraded version of that. Now, don't get me wrong, Syl is still amazing for crowd control for sure, but he is just incredible. He does so good. He doesn't have War Master or anything like that. Obviously, if you were like strictly building him out for something like Dragons, you would probably take War Master because it would do more damage depending on where your stats were at. I do have Helm Smasher because I have him built out to, what is it? I have him over 200% crit damage and typically about 200%, 220%. I try to build my champions with Helm Smasher instead of Flawless Execution or War Master. But depending on where you're using him, you can definitely switch that up, all right? So if you're using him against bosses a lot, if you're using him, things like that, then definitely go War Master. It's going to help you out with damage on the bosses. But if you're using him in the arena, you don't have a ton of crit damage, go Flawless Execution. If you're using him in the arena and you do have a healthy amount of crit damage, go Helm Smasher. Especially if you're not running Savage gear. You want to get that extra ignore defense whenever possible. So these three champions, obviously, it's not like a free-to-play, low spender, anything like that team. I'm definitely not going to say that. But this shows you what Astralon can do. And we get an Ancient Shard, okay? So he did 1.4 million, and she did 2.3. She did a lot of hers from the HP burns, the poisons, but he's definitely a very solid champion when it comes to wave clear and dungeons. I mean, you get the extra survivability, you get the extra damage, all kinds of different ways to gear him. I geared him with accuracy. If you could put him in perception, that's even better. I didn't have any perception that I could make sense of, but this set works great. Guys, if you pull Astralon, congratulations. I'm having a lot of fun with him. I think he's going to be even more fun as time goes on. If you pull Countess Lix, the chick who goes along with him, that's going to be a lot of fun too, because I think she teams up with, their team up ability is pretty cool, and anything that boosts his ability is pretty awesome. I think it's a very solid fusion. I'm glad to see a fusion champion who's valuable. It's been a little while since we've seen one this good. I definitely like him a lot. I think he's going to help out a lot of players. I know he's going to help me out in Sacred Order Faction Wars. I'm looking forward to that, guys. So guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on the video. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope this helps you out with Astralon, whether or not you should build him, whether or not you should invest in him, so on and so forth. Thank you all very much for watching. Feel free to click one of the videos that are about to pop up. I'll catch you in the next one.